So without further ado, notice that this particular account we're going to look at is set up with enterprise level software and service level private charters. So we recently sort of split apart our software services from our software levels from our service, because we had a lot of customers that didn't want to make big prepayments of $2,500 or $5,000 or $10,000 to then access all this advanced technology. So in the end of the day, we wanted customers to use our best and most effective and efficient software. And that's why we did what we did, is to try to break it off so people can choose this software level. So I'll just sort of show you really quickly an overview of the different things that you get with our software, so you can start to get a feel for what's under the hood. A lot of things have been upgraded and are improved. You can sort of start seeing that you upgrade the number of users you have, or unlimited, the number of days you have with order approval. You can eliminate your order fees now, which is new, by upgrading the software, and you can certainly access all the talent with a Plus account. And by the way, all of our existing customers, our 25,000 customers, were all granted this Plus level software without any fees, I might add. We wanted to show our appreciation for the past business that customers have had with us. So when you log in, you'll have a lot of tools enabled, and you'll be able to access some of our core technology that we've had for many years, with some new upgrades as well that I'll talk about today. So this sort of enables you to no pun intended here, enables you to turn software on or off. I've turned a lot of things on today that I'm going to show you. So this is sort of your nerve center over in your hub for software tiers, where you can really control things and make stuff work. So next, I wanted to really just kind of show you some of the new things we've added. The first thing we've added is something called a writing style contest, which is now an individual order. And I know that there's probably a lot of writers that are interested in this and why we did this and how this works. So we're not believers in crowdsourcing models. So a customer like you comes in and you pay $150, and we place an order as a 6-star order to 3 writers that we can either help you find or you can find on your own. Once you add a writer to a love list, you'll see them pop up on the screen here, and you can select any 3 writers that basically compete for your business, which is kind of fun. One of the things you can add rule sets that are specific requirements that a writer has to check off and say, yes, I've done that. You can add creative briefs to this if you want to. But in the end of the day, we've tried to make this as simple as possible to really just use this as a way to pop in some instructions, maybe not too much detail, and test out the savvy of the writers. One of the conditions we have for this contest is, by default, we want you to and require that you send feedback to the writers to truly give them a chance to perfect their work in a second draft that they provide to you before you choose the winner. So we think this is a great way to do some style testing, to see if writers can do some style flexing and meet your requirements and goals. So that's an exciting new addition that we're very, very excited about. We've also added access to new images. Everyone will have access to Getty images, which you pay $6 per image for. I believe there are 12 million images in WriterAccess that you can access through Getty, but we also now have access to some fabulous images through a company called Graphic Stock that are free. They're not free from me, because I paid for access to this entire library. But by paying a lump sum fee, I get access to all of the images for clients and customers that can then use these images as they wish for any assigning them to any project that they complete at WriterAccess. They can attach an image to that project. And some of the writers might be interested to learn. We have a whole bunch of things we're doing for our talent, but we want to get this engine over to our talent so they could potentially use this free library to add image recommendations for articles that you're creating for a customer. So that will be something that will be in the works with Aaron and I in the next few weeks. So we also, at the enterprise level, you now have access to some some videos, believe it or not, that I bought from the same company that's actually renaming their company Storyblock. You can go check them out. Through an API, once again, you've got access to actual images and video. Once again, this is no license fee. You can use these images as if you upgrade to your software. Also at the enterprise level, there's hourly support option. I'm not sure if people knew that, but we can do things for you that you need on an hourly basis if you need some help and support. The workflow tools, not too much really changed in here, so I'll skip over that for now just so we can be concise. We moved conference calling ability and re-architected the way this works. You can actually set up a call with any one of your writers, and at the plus level you still pay 50 cents per minute and a writer earns 70% of that. At the pro level you pay 35% and the writer earns all 35 cents. At the enterprise level we actually eat the cost of you having a conference call with a writer, but we still pay the writer 35 cents per minute for their time. So that's an exciting new feature that we thought would make a lot of sense. It's pretty easy to request a conference call with a writer. They need to obviously accept it, but that gives you an idea, and then it's of course keeps track of a recording of your calls. So we put it all, popped it in one interface to make it all work. All right, so now let's look at some of the exciting tools. I'll go through these fairly quickly. So we've had some additional research tools that we added. This is a rather interesting research tool that's powered by Cambridge Analytics, and it basically allows you to score and grade and run a profile analysis on any content. Here you see a profile. This is actually some content that I wrote that you'll find on the homepage. I was not happy to learn it was written apparently with a very masculine voice, so it detected that I wrote it. And it's beginning to analyze the personality characteristics of the person that wrote it, and perhaps the target audience, one could argue, in your ability to connect and engage your audience. So it's just it's a fun tool that we help writers use. We're going to try to move some of these tools, as mentioned, back into the writer portal that we're rebuilding next. But we think it's a great tool for customers to do deeper analysis on content that's created for them. We've also got a fun topic finder back here. If I wanted to do some ideation for topic ideas on what to write about, we've got a fun tool that will list all kinds of how, what, when, where, and who questions people are using or searching for in the search engines. It's a great place to dig and find some topic ideas that you can transform into orders with your writers. And we've got our famous language grader that's been on here for a long time, which I really love. It immediately sort of goes out and analyzes the grade level with Flesch Kincaid grade level. So this apparently is written for a 7th grade level. It also does some neat stuff with regards to, I'll just show you this real quick. If you actually go, you can look at some of these ratings where Aaron's actually grabbing this little area here to try to give you some graphics on what that all means. So that's sort of a fun piece that we have. Let's shift over to Content Planner for a second. So this has been really upgraded significantly, and I'm going to go through a couple of different planning tools. We'll start with the Content Planner and work our way down through these 3 new tools we have installed. So here I'm trying to plan ahead. I can quickly go backwards and look at the actual content that we've had created at WriterAccess in the month of September. These are orders that were not only created, but they've been exported. And actually we push our content directly from WriterAccess over to WordPress. So that's what's transpired here. So we have some orders that are still pending. So that's what's going on down here. So you can sort of get a feel for how you can visualize the workflow a little bit easier and better. Here we're going into October, and Allie, one of our internal staff members here, has mapped out some topic ideas. I happened to take a look at this idea that I thought of this morning when I was driving to the office. I was thinking, I passed this sign and it said crushing something, I forget what it was, but I'm like, crushing content. A lot of our writers really crush it with content. Why don't we interview some of them and ask them to put a blog post together that explains why they keep earning exceed expectations with content. So this is a potential blog post that may go out to some writers that Allie will help select. It has some notes and instructions on it. And you can see we've added some new features both to the order form and these ideas that allow us to communicate a particular buyer persona that I'll showcase to you in a second, as well as the stages of the journey that this particular content asset would relate to, which will dive writers into a deeper understanding of the target audience and what pain points they might have to help them create better content. We also have added an ability to quickly find the keywords that you're targeting for optimization. So here I selected one of the domain names, and I can go through all of my keywords and find keywords that I might want to add to this particular order. I'll just quickly grab something here that we've identified, different types of writing styles. Perfect. So I'll add that in, and I now have a couple keywords that we're focused on, and I can save this idea. Allie can go look at it and actually transform that idea into an order by simply clicking the button at the bottom and transforming it and literally turning it into an order very quickly. At the bottom here, do I want to place this as a simple order or in a detailed order form? When I click on that, it will ask me, do I want to use templates and all kinds of neat stuff that will help transform this idea into an order. So next up, we built we took our creative brief, which we had inside of an order. We decided to build a separate tool for, say, an agency to create a creative brief and export it as a PDF and let their client look over what they've created, or the other way around. So this is an opportunity for us to articulate what we want with our orders, what some of our requirements are, what is the objective, the tone of writing. So this becomes an important document for writers to better understand the tone and the style and what you're looking for, and anything in particular you want to include with the order. So now it can be attached to an order rather than baked into, say, an order template. You can also change add new creative briefs based upon working with writers and learning how to adjust what they're working with. So that becomes exciting and interesting. And there's also a way, as mentioned, you just click this and you click download the PDF, and now you've got an asset that you can add to your library and save and attach to journals or share with other people internally within your company. So next up, we're big believers in, I'm a big believer in aiming your content in the right direction. So we've created a really cool new tool that allows you to basically create a brief on the fly. So what you do when you're adding a customer journey map on the fly. So when you fill in this information, it's going to walk you through sort of a wizard and begin to sort of nail and pinpoint every stage of the journey and how you can describe to a writer what customers are thinking and feeling in that stage of the journey. So you can see what is really helpful is actual statements that your customer success team and or sales teams are learning from customers, so they can really get a fabulous understanding of what these pain points are and what these needs are, and what your customers and prospect customers experience in different stages. It's also helpful to understand and evaluate the type of content that you currently have on the website, and the different types of assets you're having that you currently have right now that relate to this stage of the journey. So once again, a writer can get a more holistic view of how much content you have, how good that content is. Maybe they can get a deeper understanding and an assessment, and even describe to the writer what future content your plan looks like and what you're spending per month. And a content strategist can even here list recommended topics that a writer could read to understand what you're aiming for with topics, with content assets, with ideas, all centered on a particular stage of the journey. So this last part here, this recommended topics, becomes really critical. And what we're hoping is these customer journey maps can literally become a roadmap, if you will, and almost an editorial plan, pretty much, that's rooted around different stages of the journey, with different assets that are created, different topics that you're discussing. So when you create these and go through all potential 8 phases of a customer journey map, which does require some work, that can all then be articulated to a writer. What's also interesting about that, you saw over back on the content planner, when I enter an idea, you can see, I'll just show you that again really quickly, you can define which stage of the journey. You can see the garbage customer journey that I just created is now showing up there, but you can actually choose, which stage of the journey you want the writer to look at. So that will then attach a description of that stage of the journey with what you filled out. And likewise, we're going to get to buyer personas in a second, but the same thing happens there. So we're bringing this information with personas and journey maps into the workflow for writers to truly get a deeper understanding of what you want to do. So what your goals and objectives are. So next up, let's go take a look at an actual persona. And so we built a little tool that actually allows you to grab one of about 30 or 40 pictures we've loaded in here and describe his, Andrew in this case, his situation, his complexity, what his solution is. It goes on to tell us a little bit more about this individual, and it begins to shape a picture of an actual person that a writer can keep in their mind. It's helpful to know what Andrew's spend is, what kind of assets has he purchased, and what sort of the detail of who this character is. So these bullet points will hopefully be summarized for a writer in a nice, tight manner to get a feel for who is Andrew, who is this person I'm writing for. So next up, let's take a look at a keyword mapper. This is a really cool new tool that we're excited to launch. This allows you to add lots of keywords and to not only add those keywords, but to group those keywords into different silos, which you can then quickly access on when you're placing orders. So you can not only select the your entire list of keywords, you can dive into one of your silos and start looking at your content plan in a more strategic way to group keywords according to different silos. So that's a super new cool tool that we've added. We're also, notice we're scraping data on Google listing positions for this keyword. We have an overall score that we assign using an algorithm that Aaron and I have developed that looks at not only your listing positions in the search engines and the pay-per-click price in the search volume, but it also looks at your competitors' listing positions in the search engines and allows you to sort of get a single number saying, hey, we should go after this keyword phrase because our competitors might not be getting a top listing for that and we might be doing better with them, or and it's a high search volume, and we're like, in this case, content marketing agency, I wouldn't actually want to go after that keyword phrase because that's not what WriterAccess does, but it's beginning to track some math and some data, some big data on what are good target keywords that we should consider going after. So that's how the keyword mapper works. Let's go to some visual workflow tools. I don't want to spend too much time today, but I appreciate everybody listening in. But we'll just go through a few of these quickly. So here we just wanted a visual workflow to see what actual jobs we have that you have placed through WriterAccess. So the content planner will probably replace this, but this gets into a little bit more detail on what's in production, what's approved, what's been exported, so you can find some good data there. And this is a white label portal tool for agencies. So if you signed up for the Pro solution, which is really targeted Pro software designed for agencies, this we've created a portal for agencies that allow you to send your clients to contentapproval.com and to basically not have any reference at all to WriterAccess. It's just a blank portal, and they just simply type in their email address and their that you set up. You would actually add one of your clients and set up the client name and the path that they get there, the workflow. You can define, do I want the writer to deliver it to account manager and then the client, or do I want it to go right to my client first and then an account manager? So you can choose how an order is delivered in using the technology, and you can add a number of days that your client has to approve the order. Remember that when you sign up for our higher level software, you get an extension of like 14-day approval time, but you want to probably stay within the window of 14 days, so we give you as many 7 days here for your clients to assign it. But anyway, that allows you to have full management of the workflow, as well as who the client name is, and you can be able to send them a link to the portal. So lots of good stuff with the workflow. Some other things you can do is you can customize the portal. You can pop in your logo, which is actually done at the parent level. I'll talk about that in a second. And you can customize email templates that are sent to your clients. And then you can keep track of, you can reactivate clients if you want to. So the white label portal is really designed for agencies, which, by the way, are about 40% of our business right now. We do a lot of work with agencies that have multiple people in using the platform with what we call a parent-child account, which I'll talk about in a second. All right, next up, just a few more. Thanks for your patience, and appreciate this opportunity once again. But so. We built some really cool analytics tools, and I'm actually going to start with the last performance report, which is really a culmination of these tools. So here you're seeing some performance on WriterAccess, and how much content we've published on WordPress, how much content we've published on Facebook and Twitter. We see some Google Analytics data. We see how our listing positions are tracked. So you can get some pretty comprehensive data just really quickly. I particularly enjoy these top traffic gainers and top listing positions. Here I could take a quick look at this report, and before I'm even thinking about ideas for the month, I can come in and look at some top listing positions that we've gained. I can see which keywords we're getting close to the top 10. I can see which keywords we're beginning to potentially slip on, both in a positive and a negative way. Here's some losses we have. Copywriting services, our position has decreased there, so we would want to potentially create some content around that. So this report is certainly not going to replace your Google Analytics dashboard, but it's nice to have information at your fingertips if you're a client, particularly if you're managing multiple domain names and multiple clients using the WriterAccess platform. So here we see content analytics, a deeper dive into the content. It looks at the last month. So here we're seeing particular tweets that we've gone out. Our technology is tracking the keywords that we use in any of this content we're publishing. We can begin to see, it looks like our blog posts are using some of our keywords. That's a good thing. And we can look at obviously the publish date, see what we've been publishing in the last month or so, and you can toggle along and look at previous months as well. So quite a few assets, we're creating here. You can also add really cool column filters on here. Clicks is a really cool tool. If we had included any bit.ly links, in any of the posts that we had, our technology would track those clicks. Here we have something that we shared on Facebook. It did feature a bit.ly link in it, so we're showing the total number of clicks that have happened on that post. Keyword analytics is also pretty interesting. Piece of data we're tracking through our SpyFu integration. We're tracking pay-per-click price, search volume, and your listing positions at Google. So you can get a quick data analysis of how your site is performing. You can choose different, if you need more or less keywords, you can upgrade your software accordingly. And again, once again, we're not replacing a SpyFu, we're just bringing in some very light data here to showcase some priority keywords that you may want to target and go after. So next, I'm just going to look at APIs while we're looking at this. We're always looking for new API integration opportunities. So if there's anything that you feel you would rather, you wish you could push your content directly to, please let us know. We also have created our own API. So if you had a custom platform, for example, it would be possible for us to help you integrate the content you're using in WriterAccess and push that content directly into your own agency and/or client portal that you're using. So that's exciting. This is something called accounting fields. This is if you are an agency and you wanted to add an account ID number or a purchase order number or a name of a client to all of your orders that you're running, you could do that. And then when you go to, I'll show you another cool tool. If you are, let's see, if I look at transactions, we've added the ability to actually go find different content, different folders. You can add a particular customer that you want to track. If we had 5 different customers in here, we could look at whatever custom field that we had set up down here using these accounting fields. So this field right here, customers, shows up on the transaction report because I named it customers. For example, if actually the parent account has to do that. But all right, so finally, what I wanted you to understand was the way parent-child accounts work. So I'm gonna sort of just sort of explain it to you, but in general, a parent account at WriterAccess can have multiple child accounts. So there's an actual toggle on the parent account that allows you to add different users to your account. So that is a really important part of the puzzle. You have total control on who's using your account, and if you're the parent account, you can go into the child accounts. You can also have a master parent account budget. Another thing that a customer wanted some time ago is, do you want to share different elements of the users? In other words, do you want your users to see one another's lists of writers, or do you want to keep those independent when you set your parent-child up? We'd have to go into a child account to show you that. But there's a lot under the hood today. I just wanted to take a half an hour and show you some of these fabulous, robust tools. And appreciate everybody tuning in today. So I'm happy to field any questions over here. Let me see if I can see any questions coming in about the software. Let me click on software so you guys can sort of start studying this a little bit. So if anybody has any questions, please let me know. Love to hear from anyone and everyone. Go over to your, let me see. Okay, let me look at some of these questions. Here we go. New to WriterAccess, can you briefly explain the find talent? For example, say I want a writer to take on a topic near and dear to marathon event runners. How about a topic for nurses who are working 12-hour shifts? Okay, so you want to find talent. Let's go take a look. You want to find talent. You have a whole bunch of different ways that you can find talent. We have a column for, let's say, sports, for example. I could quickly go find writers in the sports category. and I could add somebody. I could go take a look at Scott. Maybe I like Scott, so I could add Scott to my love list. I could, actually Scott is already on my love list, so I could remove him. So, you can go find people based upon lots of different sorting and searching abilities at WriterAccess, including searching by, keyword phrases. So somewhere on Chris or Cindy or Sarah's, either their profile information or their samples or their resume, which I believe we archive, somewhere on here you're going to find some information about nurses. So you could select a few of these. Now check this out, you could go place an order to one of these 2 or 3 people as a casting call, if you wanted to, that's aimed towards making sure writers have the skill and experience that you're looking for. They basically have to apply to this job before anyone can pick it up. And here we have a toggle called casting call, which is really cool. Notice we also have match me up while I'm here. So anyway, hopefully that answered your question, Jeff. But I wanted to also talk with you a little bit about match me up. That's a new, probably invention is the right word to explain that. We had a lot of customers that didn't really want to place an order as a crowd order where the first available writer picks it up. They wanted to have a little bit more control, but they didn't want to take the time to find writers. So we've created an algorithm that's called Match Me Up, where we can go in and select writers for you that we believe are appropriate. So if you're at a higher level software level, we will actually do, in a higher level of service level, we will do that for you. We also created something called Smart Match Me Up, and that's where the best writer is selected using some performance algorithms, and this is the new addition, which is quite interesting. I think this is going to end up replacing casting calls altogether, because we think we can do a really good job using data like looking over your order form and what you selected on it and how it's set up and what your requirements are. And we can do lots of interesting matching using that data to find writers that have completed assignments like yours and exceeded expectations with customers to help match you up very quickly using data. So I'm hoping that Smart Match Me Up becomes a really cool way to work. We also feel like we've tried to look at our algorithm and actually not just look at performance within the WriterAccess platform, but we've started to assign some editorial picks, if you will, some ranking of even new writers in our platform that we feel we want to desperately give some orders to, so they can prove themselves out and join the community and be granted the opportunity. So it's been very hard to do that with crowd orders, because it's orders go so quickly. An order is placed to the crowd and like boom, someone's sitting there grabbing it, like it's almost as if they're hitting the refresh button to see what new crowd orders come in. So we'd like to do more matching so writers don't have to waste time hitting the refresh button looking for orders. We can do a better job of trying to match things up for them. So those are a couple of new additions I'm glad we were able to stumble on. So let's see, where does the data from Topic Finder come from? Good question. It's a secret. I can't tell you. So we do have a non-disclosure for that particular tool, so we can't pull it from you. But it's pretty awesome data, choosing the search volume and the pay-per-click price. I don't want to take, I wanted to really, let's see, we've got a couple more, but I wanted to really be brief with this. But if you use a Smart Match feature, are new writers included? I'm trying to determine how your new writers get hired. Yes, that is a problem. We have a demand problem. So if there are clients listening to this call, please buy more content from us and tell the world about us. But we do our best to try to to get orders out. One of the problems with our 7 years of incredible history with writers that continue to wow customers is that our search results, when a customer is looking for a writer, our search results naturally are pulling up writers that, pulling up the results of writers that have the most experience, that have completed the most projects, that have the most exceed expectations, that are delivering projects on time. So, you know, we're trying to grow our community of writers, and we're working extremely hard to do that. In a variety of ways, I can assure you. One of the ways is to spend a lot of time building out an API that could potentially enable us to connect our engine to some very large companies that are servicing hundreds and thousands or even millions of small to mid-sized businesses. And so we're looking to really be creative with how we grow and expand. So that's my quick thought for you on what we're trying to do to help writers get more jobs. But I do think Smart Match Me Up is a step in the right direction to try to push out jobs to orders for customers based upon lots of variables. Let's see. Oh, someone says, impressive, the business owner of a writing company I have contact with may be interested in this. Can the link be shared with him? Sure, why not? So we're happy to just get the word out. So feel free. We'll post this link. Maybe we'll post this publicly after we clean up a couple things on it. So stay tuned for a link for everyone to access this. Will any of the tools you're planning to push to writers be available to editor talent as well? Excellent question. The answer is yes. We're trying to build something that's, I won't talk about too much right now, but it's very big and it's very exciting. We feel it's time to invest in our community of talent. And we're looking for ideas from everyone in the community to help us build some new tools and features, and really to help build a different kind of community. And I'll save this only as a teaser. As we think about building this community, we're not just thinking about, you know, orders at WriterAccess, you know, or making it easier to access orders, or perform work with advanced tools. We're thinking way beyond that. We're thinking about literally building, let's just call it, I'll let you know what the nickname is of it, so we can talk about it as a community within the writing community. And the nickname is The Village. So we're talking about building, that's our code name, we're talking about building a village for our talent that we're very, very excited about. And I will be talking with writers separately about that, so we'll stay on topic. So well, listen, this has been great, everyone. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, diving in today. Hopefully this was helpful. I'd love to hear some feedback on this call and in the webinar. And if these things are helpful, please let me know. But thanks very much for tuning in today, and look forward to communicating with you in the future. Thanks very much, everyone.